The bird situation is interesting, isn't it, in terms of the way that they're moving around this landscape to feed.
It's quite phenomenal, really, because Strangford Loch, which we're at the mouth of, is famous for islands with lots of nesting terns, and we see these birds flying, over the peninsula, over land, out into the Celtic, the Irish Sea, looking for food, and they fly some distances. Nature's designed them to do that, but you do wonder why they go at times so far.
And it's not just seabirds. There's studies been conducted recently that's showing that swifts that are nesting in Belfast are flying all the way in virtually a straight line across the countryside to Loch Ness to feed,
to Loch Ness,
and then all the way back again.
Yeah. Now the productivity of the blackfly there is just enormous. I mean, you just absolutely fantastic resource, but again, they're flying quite some distance to take the benefit of that resource.
Which must mean that en route, flying over the countryside, there's not enough insects for them to stop and bother to hunt.
Quite so they go all that way. So what does that say about our surrounding countryside? Well,
it says to me that there's just simply not enough food there, and that's probably what's precipitated so many of our avian declines.
I would agree with that totally. I mean, I'm getting on a bit now as a wee fella. No, I don't mind. But it's something for me. It's worth reflecting on because, as a young boy growing up, I grew up in an English landscape that, every other farm field was full of life. It was farmed very differently. The hedgerows were very different. The roadsides were very different. And I don't look back with rose-tinted glasses because I actually started my life as a botanist and an ornithologist quite young, at 10 and 11 and 12. And I remember really well, and I have diaries from when I was such a young boy which record this wonderful biodiversity, as we now call it. And where has all that gone? And this place, Killard, reminds me of that youth I once had and that wonderful wildlife that I grew up with. I come here to Killard, and I don't exaggerate, it makes me almost want to weep, because this is such a wonderful place. It's just an incredible, incredible place for its wildlife. And it reminds me how a landscape that was everywhere once upon a time had similar offerings in terms of wildlife, that was colourful, that was rich, that was diverse, that was wonderful.
And this area has been protected. It's never been ploughed, it's never been sprayed.
Exactly.
It's basically a last little scrap, isn't it?
And that's how we see it. They're oases.
Okay, here's a question for you. Imagine you're conservation king for a day. I bestow that upon you. What would you do to fix this problem tomorrow?
I think the starting point, and it's a hard starting point, is to affect people's hearts and minds and spirit, and to feel there's a need to make a change. Unless people really feel it should be done, has to be done, then I don't think money is enough. I mean, I think the schemes have proven that over recent years. Some people respond positively, but the majority have not. So it's going to take, the raising of awareness in a way perhaps we've not endeavoured to do before, to make enough people who are custodians of land actually go, well, these guys have got a view that's worth listening to, and we should respond to that. If we've a better landscape, a better environment, we surely will all benefit from that. Again, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, and we'll have a safer land to live in and safer food, etc. So I think it starts with that, an incredible campaign to change the hearts and minds of us all so that we appreciate what we've lost and what we will continue to lose. So sure as anything, we're losing it, and losing it rapidly.